and 2 stories, and really designed for the positions and designed for the view, being that it's on the hill and the sun too. So the walls are angled. It's sort of a trapezoid shaped plan, and they've got a really cute dog. But I thought the floor plan, it sort of looks a bit like a dog when you look at the floor plan. But yeah, interesting story too. There was a story in stuff.co about James and his journey on building this house, and he'd never built a house before. He'd built a stall, so he did his apprenticeship by learning how to build his own house, and he's done a really good job of it, and he's really proud. So that's a good story. Could almost make a grand designs project program on that project. They usually fire the architect in grand design, so I've never been on grand designs. So those are the ones that, and then there's one that Dan will be at, which is under construction, and it's really great to see a house before it's all covered up, and see behind the scenes really what goes into making the house, and that's Carroll Lane. And if you end up there's actually a cluster of homes, 3 in sort of stone's throw of each other, where you could visit them down there in Craycroft, Cashmere. Cashmere Estates is sort of a new subdivision, but it's really Craycroft. So that's not all of the homes, but you know, you can read about them in here, and you can decide which ones you like the look of and want to go and have a look at. Yeah, so I'll probably maybe take some questions, and if you've got any questions about this project or anything. Yeah. Oh, you go first. Yeah.
Sorry. Those big verandas, do you get a lot of sun coming up?
Yeah, so in this space here, we've got these high level windows, so the sun comes right back to the back wall here.
Yeah.
And I think, further along, we've actually got a little skylight cut out where the outdoor table is. So we're thinking about the light, but we're also thinking in this house about protection from overheating. So it's something that, thanks for reminding me, I didn't talk about that. So it's something that's often overlooked. So if you make a house warm, and we think it's relatively easy to make a house warm, it's actually a lot harder to make it so that it doesn't overheat in summer. So you've got to think about having the right amount of shading. So that's one of the key reasons, and also just to have a nice space that you can use that's connected to the garden. Yeah, I think John, there's plenty of light comes in. Yeah.
It's nice to have the sun in the winter.
Yeah.
So it's just dappled light cover all the trees.
Yeah.
Well, and north is that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, we get.
Yeah, most of them are deciduous, aren't they? Those trees. So,
Not all.
yeah.
And the big magnolia out here is grandiflora, isn't it? Totara is down there.
Yeah, there's a mixture of natives, and I really like the redwood tree that sort of sets the Californian theme. That's my favourite one. Yeah, and that's something that through doing the energy modelling that I was talking about earlier, you can really see some study, but also deeper than that, thermal study of how the house is going to work, what's the solar gain going to be, and is there enough or is it too much, and that sort of thing. That's the...
Yeah, my question was, what you're touching on is that you've done all this thermal modelling, which is great. Has there been any post-occupancy check on performance compared to the model?
We haven't done any monitoring yet, but it's something that we are doing in some of the homes that we're doing, and we're always asking what's the power bill like, and that sort of thing. And I know from talking to John, there was a few sort of technical glitches with the solar, so that hasn't been working. I think the battery hasn't been working for a wee while, so we won't get a clear indication on the energy use until we've gone through a full sort of cycle of the seasons with 1 year. But I really think it's important to monitor homes. So, you know, you can say it's a high performance home, or can say whatever you like, but the proof is in the pudding, and the way to verify that is through monitoring. The house at Prebbleton, we've got a little device that I'm setting up today to do some monitoring here, to do some monitoring there, and it'd be really good to do some here too. But we sort of know through our experience, and even before we do the energy modelling, it's just sometimes confirming what we already know. But for people that aren't experienced in designing high-performance homes, it's a good design tool. But that modelling, sadly, happens after the house is designed, at the end of the project too often. It should be done at the very early conceptual stage, so that you do have the opportunity to tweak things if you need to. Not many people do that. It's kind of pointless or kind of less beneficial if you've shown the beautiful design to the client, they've fallen in love with it, and then you've said, hang on a minute, we've got to change it. It's a hard sell to do that.
Sorry, do you design in wood log burners, or is that a complete no-no with the superhomes?
We don't need log burners.
Some people might want them for the aesthetic and stuff.
Yeah, I like a flame, a fire, but the homes that we're designing now, if we put a fire into it, it'll just cook you. It'll overheat. You could open all the doors and windows and light the fire. I try and tend to talk people into doing an outdoor fire instead of having a fire in the house, because it does create issues with air tightness, and you can do it. You've just got to have a air intake that's coming from outside and have it all airtight. But then you still do have the issue of contaminants burning wood in the home. So yeah, I mean, if I now, with my sort of slightly educated view on things, I look at a house and if it's got a chimney, I think that's not right. But yeah, I look at things through a different lens from people.
So you've just got heat recovery and no other kind of heating?
There's underfloor heating. You might feel it's a little bit warm.
Doesn't like it.
And that's heated with water, with a heat pump, which is powered by the solar panel, so it's incredibly efficient. And yeah, so that, you know, how that's working, and there's battery backup too. So it's an example of sort of systems working together, you know, rather than just ticking the box. I've got solar panels, I've got underfloor heating. Those things work together. And the same heat pump also heats the domestic hot water. So it's dual purpose. So really efficient, and so you have a really lovely and warm house, warm feed, and you don't need to worry about the power bill. So yeah, systems thinking, just how the whole home works together. And you know, I think of the actual house as a system. You know, that window, that's a window system, how that is actually installed correctly in the wall. It's all about systems. It's not just the actual heating system or solar system. It's about how everything works together as a system in the whole home. And so I'll just hand over to Dan. Do you want to talk a little bit about the building? You're going to do a tour.